complete news, weather, and sports for the Tri-State. From WFIE-TV, this is Newswatch.
Good evening, I'm David James. State help is on its way to the tornado victims of Allendale, Illinois, and today a federal emergency team toured the rubble that used to be the homes and public buildings there. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, is counting up the losses, and the numbers will determine how much federal help will come to Allendale.
Our role is one of performing a damage assessment with the state of Illinois to determine the needs for federal programs.
My immediate goal is to do something with Postal Service to make sure we're back up and running in that particular federal agency. We will then take a look at Farmers Home Administration. I've talked to the fire chief about Department of Conservation funds for the lost equipment. It's just a matter of putting all the pieces together.
The FEMA information collected goes first to Illinois Governor Thompson, who has already declared Edwards, Wabash, Wayne, and White counties state disaster areas. That information then goes on to Washington, and through a number of federal help programs could be on their way to Allendale in just a matter of weeks. Well, we've had a team of reporters in Allendale all day. They've seen the devastation firsthand and watched the efforts to help the hurting and the homeless. And Rick Notter joins us now from what's left of Allendale. Rick, what's going on tonight?
Well, David, at this hour, the school board from Wabash County is meeting to determine what to do with the school children, how they will go to school over the next few days and few months, for that matter. The building you see behind me was the school building. That has been officially condemned, and that, in a way, helps the school board with their decision. This building will more than likely be torn down now, and the meeting taking place at this hour is trying to determine what temporary facilities can be used to help the kids go to school. There was no school for the grade school students today, and there will be no school for them tomorrow, as far as we know. But by Wednesday, they hope to have them in some sort of classroom setting. The good news out of all of this is that no one lost their lives. There were no fatalities. There were, however, 50 people injured in the tornado on Saturday night, and we were able to talk with some of those who were still hospitalized today. Dan Ballard has their story.
There's not a lot you can say about the scene around Allendale. It appears similar to a war zone. But what's more is people here say it's a miracle no one was killed.
I feel real lucky. I feel real lucky. I feel like the Lord was watching out for all of us. And if it hadn't been for him, we wouldn't have been here.
Little and his family are recovering from their injuries at Wabash General Hospital in Mount Carmel. Mr. Little's memories of Saturday night are vivid.
The modular home was in just blew about 100 feet down across the field. And I was spinning like this, and I couldn't breathe. I didn't know what was going to happen to me. And when I come to, I was underneath the floor of the trailer, and all I could hear was my boys screaming and my wife screaming, and I was pinned under there for a while, and I finally got myself out.
Across the hall, the Coomer family is also healing. This is where their house once stood. You can see the walls of the home in the background. This family is amazed as well that they survived.
And I felt the house like come up kind of twice, and the house was gone. I remember rolling and tossing around, and I guess where I was like in our backyard, and I got up and I found Jamie and Bud and Jason. They had, I guess a car had stopped. The car was parked on Highway Route 1, and I guess they had all three, whether they flown or rolled, but they must have ran into that car, and that car stopped them there, and they were right on Route 1.
I could hear our neighbors' houses down the road, pieces flying and hitting the side of our house, and about 2 or 3 seconds later it hit our house. It's kind of like bang, bang, and then it hit our house. And then the house behind us, it threw my sister and my mom against the blue house that was behind us, and that's all I remember.
Some of the injured have already been released from the hospital, but others, like Jason, have a long way to go before they are back on their feet. Dan Ballard, Newswatch 14.
Now, as of 3 o'clock this afternoon, 21 people remained hospitalized in area hospitals as a result of the tornado. One person was in serious condition as of 3 o'clock. David?
Rick, incredible stories of survival there. Again, no one was killed, thankfully. What about the people left homeless? And there are many of those people tonight. Where are they staying, and what are their plans?
Well, most of the people, David, are staying with either friends and or relatives. Now, a shelter has been set up in St. Francisville, which is a few miles to the north of Allendale, at the Emmanuel Tabernacle Fellowship Hall. The local Red Cross, the area Red Cross, has set up that shelter and is providing relief for any families that do need assistance. Many people are now trying to determine what they will do, rebuild or just move out of town. Lynn Wells has that story.
As the piles of debris burn in the village of Allendale, residents of this small Wabash County town have a lot of decisions to make. What is an heirloom and what becomes junk? What can be fixed and what must be thrown away? But the most important decision facing most of the homeless here is about what to do next, to stay or to move away.
Well, our adjuster came by today, and we have to get a hold of the contractor and see what's going on. Most of our buildings went over on that guy's lot, and his fence came over to our house and in our back porch, dining room, so it was sort of mixed up.
Do you plan to stay here in Allendale then?
Well, we don't know. It's according to what if they total the house, it's doubtful whether we rebuild or what. So I really don't know.
All up in the air.
Yeah, it's all up in the air.
And it's all up in the air at the Gabe Armstrong home as well. Generations of Armstrongs have lived here in Allendale, and the choice to stay or go for him is a tough one.
Well, Allendale's my home, and it's kind of hard because a lot of my grandfathers, we've had 4 generations of Armstrongs have lived in Allendale, and I don't know. I'll just see what happens whenever everything's cleared and people start rebuilding, moving back, but I'd like to live in Allendale again.
For many, the choice to stay or move to another community is out of their hands, but the feeling that Allendale is home to these folks can't be changed.
I think most of them would like to stay, but they would just have rather not had to make the choice.
From Allendale, Len Wells, Newswatch 14.
Now, the latest damage total we have as of this afternoon is that 52 homes in Allendale were destroyed. 59 others received damage, either minor or major damage. Those people will have to decide what to do with their homes. David?
Well, it's impossible, I guess, to come up with an accurate dollar loss count, but for insurance purposes, people have to kind of sort through the debris and come up with some kind of ballpark figure. Have you heard any kind of damage estimates yet?
There's no official damage estimate even at this time, much less a final damage total. The 6-member damage assessment team was here throughout the day today, putting together some preliminary figures, but they have yet to total them. We hope to know soon, but obviously it will be in the millions of dollars, without a doubt, especially with over 50 homes completely destroyed. Now, both the damage assessors and the insurance adjusters were here today as well, trying to tabulate the totals, and Chris Turner reports on that.
We're not going to be able to repair the house.
Henry Klaus said that a lot the last 2 days. He's an insurance adjuster, and his Allendale clients need help quickly.
The blankets you can clean, stuff like this, just leave it and list it.
Klaus toured Ethel Chapman's home. The tornado moved it off its foundation.
The floors, when you're walking there, you feel like you're on a roller coaster. That's what it feels like. And it's just panelings blew off.
Chapman has most of her belongings, but
some of them blew out. I lost my dryer.
Adjusters don't have to quibble much about the damage to Allendale homes. Most everything's totaled.
Well, I found a few with walls, but the walls are bowed. So a bowed wall would have to come out and be replaced. Some of the homes are just foundation. So I've got no home to actually look at.
Clow works on a disaster team. When a storm strikes a town such as Allendale, he and 8 other adjusters go to work.
What we do is take perimeter reading around the house to get the square foot to reconstruct the house back to what it would cost to replace it.
Clow says Ethel Chapman and other homeowners should have checks by the end of the week. Settlements for personal property rather than real property will come after they fill out an inventory list. From Allendale, Illinois, Chris Turner, Newswatch 14.
And officials hope to have some sort of preliminary figure on the damage total to this town by tomorrow, hopefully. David?
Rick, the storm that wrecked Allendale, we focused on Allendale all tonight, but it also moved on into southern Indiana. I understand you were in Knox County earlier today. What did you see there?
A lot of damage there as well. Most of the damage south of Vincennes, where they estimate the damage total there at about $350,000. Now, nearly a dozen homes were damaged along St. Thomas Road and Seavers Road. A lot of uprooted trees there as well. Aides to Congressman McCluskey toured the area this afternoon to try to total the damage and figure out what can be done for the residents.
Suffered damage are looking for assistance anywhere they can. It is amazing the damage that this tornado has done in this area, let alone the Allendale area in Illinois. And for the people who have been affected by this, it's going to take a little bit of time to get their lives back in order, so we're hopeful we can be helpful.
The boys were both here by themselves. I had a 14-year-old and a 10-year-old who thought fast enough. They grabbed flashlights and dove in the bathtub, and they pulled a mattress over the top of them, and they saved their own lives.
What did they say happened then?
They said it was like a freight train coming through the house. The house was falling apart as they ran to the bathroom and dove in the tub, and then it was just total silence.
Brian Hassler added that this tornado is a good reason to keep a full-time National Weather Service staff in Evansville and also have Doppler radar installed at the Evansville National Weather Service office. He said he will relay that information to Congressman McCluskey, and hopefully something can be done to keep a full-time staff here in Evansville. David?
Rick, thank you so much, and that's certainly has a good argument for those needs for this area. Thank you so much, and for capturing the spirit of those people in southern Illinois. The storm that battered Allendale hit first in Mill Shoals Saturday night, 50 miles to the southwest. The twister struck a hillside just outside of town, turning over mobile homes there, damaging barns, uprooting trees, and injuring 6 people. Today, the cleanup continued. It took the storm about 25 minutes to move from Mill Shoals on a straight line to Allendale. And later on, we'll ask weatherman Jeff Lyons about the watches and warnings for this storm. Did they give residents enough time to react? And in Kentucky, military police remain on duty in Franklin, Kentucky, where a tornado cut a 2-mile-long path of destruction. No one killed there, no one even hurt. But the twister damaged 15 duplexes and 10 homes. Some 20 businesses were either damaged or destroyed. The twister hit this small town south of Bowling Green at 10:30 Saturday night, some 30 minutes after a tornado watch for the area expired. In April of 1974, a tornado hit Franklin, killing 1 woman and injuring 10 people. Still to come on News Watch tonight, we'll take you to the Indiana State House for the swearing in of Governor Evan Bayh. Stay with us.
Lots of car dealers talk about